Welcome to ABC Bullion's 360 Weekly Wrap. My name is Crystal Thavios and I am joined by our resident precious metals expert, Global General Manager of ABC Bullion, Nicholas Strappel.
Hey Crystal.
Hi Nick. How has the last week played out in precious metals?
Well, essentially the two real dominant factors were rising yields and a rising dollar until last Friday. Both of those are negative for gold, so perhaps unsurprisingly we saw gold move lower, went just sub 1790. We saw slightly weak, or fairly weak, non-farm payroll figures, 49,000 on Friday. That caused the dollar to weaken, fairly sharply. So that allowed for a rebound in gold.
Yep. Looking
forward this week, I think that gold could probably extend that rebound until about 1830, where it'll hit the first line of resistance, the Ichimoku turning line.
Yep.
And then beyond that, I think the next line of resistance would be about 1864. But essentially, it's all about fairly strong dollar or rebounding dollar, and the 10-year bond yield has recovered a lot. It made a target of about 118, and it's just emerging from the weekly cloud top resistance. For the first time, it's been above that since late 2018. So this is quite an important moment for bonds and yields. The story is beginning to evolve, and obviously that's going to be a bit of a headwind for gold.
Nice. And what about silver now that the silver bulls have had a chance to participate in the market?
Well, basically, the price has obviously weakened, and it's weakened for the same reasons that gold did. But if you look at sort of bullish interpretation, last week's rally enabled gold to sort of break out. It looks like a breakout from the sort of flag-like pattern that's been made over the last several weeks.
Yep.
And quite often when those breakouts take place, you get a retest, and in this case the price weakening, retesting that level. So it all looks part of the same picture that we thought, still quite bullish. But obviously perhaps the anticipated response wasn't really there for the reasons that we discussed. Market isn't short in the way people think it is. Support-wise, I think $25.40 is good support for silver.
Okay.
Just in terms of positioning as well, not a lot changed in gold. Tiny little bit less managed money long, a little bit more managed money short, but not really a change in the sort of view on gold. Silver did have some reasonably large changes. Managed money longs sold 25 million ounces in the week ending last Tuesday. So they looked at those higher prices and said, we'll sell into that.
Yeah.
Reduce their longs. Shorts changed by a tiny amount, so no real difference there. With the ETFs, I think 61 million ounces of silver flowed into the ETFs from over the course of the last week. So some big changes in silver positioning, or fairly big changes. And since the 2nd, it looks as though there's been another contraction in open interest. There might have been more selling going on since Wednesday of last week.
Exciting. And what about the Australian dollar?
Australian dollar, initially weakening. It went to more or less that target we talked about last week. I think it was 0.755. It went to 0.7564 or something. So that kind of played out as expected. But with the weak US employment data, the Aussie kind of popped up again. I'm reasonably bullish on the dollar index for the short term, or short to, not so short term, because I think it's got that ability to recover again sort of through 92, maybe even 93. So I think that generally the Aussie will be a little bit on the defensive. The good thing that sort of helps the Aussie is that the yield from Australian assets, Australian bonds is pretty high, whereas most other currencies they're not.
Yeah.
So that will help the Aussie. But I think over the next few weeks, might be a little bit on the defensive with the Australian dollar as the dollar index extends.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your insights again, Nick.
Yes.
And thank you all for tuning in. For more from ABC Bullion 360, please follow us on our socials or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, happy trading at abcbullion.com. Thank you.